Good morning. Today we look at Revelation chapters 12 and 13. And these two chapters, chapter 12, there's a great portent appears in heaven, and it's the image of a woman. And of course, then the beast comes, Satan comes, and but also then in chapter 13, we have two beasts that rise up. And so it's depicting part of the battle of Satan, sin and evil against the goodness of God. And this woman who appears clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars, pregnant, crying out with the birth pangs, and she gives birth to a child, a boy, a male child, the heir of God. And as she's in the process of giving birth, this great red dragon with 7 heads and thorns and 7 diadems appears. And again, this beast represents Satan, and it's going to be spelled out a little bit more detail for us that way. And and it tells us, as his tail swept down 1/3 of the stars from heaven and threw them to the earth. So, I mean, this is a large beast, the pictures that are there of this woman and this beast. And it says the dragon stood before the woman so that he might devour her child as soon as it's born. And then we see, the child is born and the child is taken away. And, the first thought is that, this beast, Satan, took the child, but no, it works out a whole lot better than that, because she gave birth and her child was snatched away and taken to God and to his throne. And this child was the Son, the Messiah. And so this woman in this depiction is the nation of Israel. And this child born is indeed the Savior, Jesus Christ. And of course, we know that the devil is working against God in and through all things. And after the child has been taken away to the throne of God, the woman flees. She goes to a place that has been prepared by God for her to be nourished and to be taken care of for, again, this time of 1,260 days, this 3.5-year time. And we continue to hear that, 3.5 years and 3.5 years, and for this total of 7 years in these tellings. And after the birth of the child, there's a war breaks out in heaven. Michael and the good angels, the faithful angels, are on one side against the devil and the evil angels. And of course, the devil can't stand against Michael and the good angels. Good prevails over evil. And the devil and all of the devil's angels are cast out of heaven to the earth. And that doesn't bode well for the earth, to have Satan then fully enmeshed in the earth, fully embodied upon the earth. And but within heaven, the proclamation comes that now heaven is purged of this evil. The accuser has been thrown down, and the accuser and all have been conquered by the blood of the Lamb. And of course, that Jesus Christ is the Savior. And then as this proclamation ends here, the devil has come with great wrath because he knows his time is short. He knows that it won't be too long that God will utterly and completely destroy him, that he won't have any place of safety or security. And the devil pursues this woman, who had given birth. So the devil continues to pursue the people of Israel, but not only the people of Israel, but the Christian nation as well, all who believe in Jesus Christ. Satan is in battle against us all of the time, trying to separate us one way or the other from God and his love. And as he's pursuing this woman, the woman is given wings of the great eagle so she can fly away. But the serpent, sends this great torrent of water out of its mouth, a flood, trying to eradicate and erase this place of safety where this woman is. And the earth itself opens up, and all of the waters drain down into the earth. And so it's, here we've got, the God who created the heavens and the earth and looked and saw that it was good. Here the earth even is working against the evil of Satan. It opens up and is protecting, the people of God in those ways from this angry dragon. And so the dragon then, rather than pursuing the woman, the people of Israel, God's chosen, then goes to wage war on all of the earth and all of the peoples of the earth. Takes his stand on the seashore, and this beast rises up out of the sea. And, the picture of this beast with 10 horns, 7 heads. On his horn were 10 diadems, and his head were blasphemous names. And the picture that we can draw in our minds is a scary, frightful being that we would want to flee from. And so often in Revelation and in some of the Jewish literatures, the beast, the Satan, some of these, it's the image of the Roman Empire, because they are, especially, like Caesar is to be called God, and we know that there is only one God. And so in many ways, the nation of the Romans, the Roman Empire, is being used by Satan to punish and to control the people of God. And this, this beast was like a leopard. His feet were like a bear's. His mouth was a lion's mouth, and he had great power. And it appeared that, it says it had a death blow. So with a sword, something had hit one of the heads that it should have died, but it miraculously lived. And it's just, to me, that's just an example of how the Satan, the temptations, evil, just keep coming back again and again and again. We can turn away from it, and yet, it's still there. And, the evil rears its ugly head, time and time again. And this beast, it says in verse 5 again, it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. And so sometimes they use that 42 months, and sometimes it's the 1,260 days. But those both are the same timeline. And, it's just, why the difference, who knows? But this beast has authority for this 3.5-year time span on earth. And it was given authority, it says, over every tribe and people and language and nation, and all of the inhabitants of the earth will worship it. Other than those, this is the good part. In verse 8, the end of verse 8, all will worship it except the ones whose names are written in the book of life of the Lamb who was slaughtered. So if our names, and for us to have our names written in the book of life of the Lamb is to say that I believe in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. We are in the book of life that way. And so the temptations and the wrath of this Satan, this beast, we will be exempt from, probably because we won't be here. Can't say that for sure, but and then it's, verse 9, let anyone who has an ear listen. If you are to be taken captive, into captivity you will go, and so it's a call to faith, to endurance for those of us that believe, to continue to remain firm in our belief and trust in God and His love and the sacrifice of the Lamb. In verse 11, another beast comes, a little bit of a lesser beast. But this beast also has power to influence the people of the world, and it prophesies, and it does miracles, and it does all kinds of things, and this beast looks like it could be the Savior, the one that is to come, but it is not the Savior. It is not the one to come, and it gives more breath and more life to this first beast, this Roman Empire. And it influences more and more of that. It says, and so it's a reminder. The last things it says, this calls for wisdom. Let anyone with understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number of the beast is 666. And there's different ways they come to that number. But the sign of the beast is then put on all of the peoples of the earth. And if you don't have the sign of the beast on your hand or on your forehead or whatever, you're not able to purchase supplies. You're not able to buy what it is you need to live. So the beast, Satan, has complete control over everything that happens. At least it seems like he has control. But we know and trust that God always has the last word.